Hello, my name is Matt Logan, a doctoral student at Sam Houston State University. I'm excited to present to you my instructional planning toolkit. Within this toolkit, we will go over a couple of examples related to instructional planning and ways to reference to historical data and how to apply it to today's data in the realm of education. The table of contents for today's presentation, we're going to go over 5 examples. They're specific instructional examples for planning for educators. The first will be a sample training schedule, and as we navigate through the examples, I encourage you to pause this video to be able to fully read through the descriptions and to be able to assess the thought and logic that went into these training schedules, to be able to also identify key takeaways for your own future instructional planning. Again, the first example we'll go into is a sample training schedule. The second example is going to be the Bloom's taxonomy levels and the ISTE standards. The third is going to be Gange's 9 events of instruction. The fourth will be the 4 constructive pedagogies. And the fifth example will be a sample instructional activity regarding process, and it'll also entail a mind map. The purpose of this presentation is to be in a digital format for educators to be able to gain access through the lens of a graduate student's perspective, to be able to read, digest, and then cover their own takeaways relevant to their realm of teaching, learning environments, and curriculums. As we navigate through the slides, I'll just briefly pause on the slides and again encourage you to be able to pause your video and take notes as needed. This instructional example number 1 is a instructional example for a sample training plan. In this example, this example that's used is a sales manager role in hotels. On this slide, it is a continuation of the first example. We are going to outline the learning objectives, instructional procedures and resources, as well as a sample training timeline for the onboarding of this sales manager. In addition to this training timeline, it is recommended to have training topics, activities, and assessments that are embedded into the training timeline. And the specific focus areas that are uncovered with this are orientation and onboarding, customer service and training, product and service knowledge. And on the next slide, we're going to go over a couple more topics, but again, I encourage you to pause and take notes as needed. The final 2 training topics and assessments for this is sample security and compliance training, as well as technology training. Moving on to instructional example number 2, this focuses on Bloom's taxonomy levels. So there are 6 levels, and this is also in relation to the ISTE with the focus area. This is the International Society for Technology and Education organization, which is available to help educators infuse technology into their training materials. So I encourage you to take a look at these 6 levels, and over the next few slides, we're going to kind of dive into each of these levels and to see how this instructional example can utilize this information and kind of take the instruction to the next level. The first level is to create, and there are action items within this level, as well as the corresponding ISTE standards that coincide with these actions. You will also see there are recommended digital tools corresponding to this level. So we have create as the first and evaluate as the second. For the third level is going to be Analyze, which also has the action items, ISTE standards, and the digital tools recommendations. And for the fourth level, we have Apply. For the remaining two levels, we have Understand, and the sixth is Remember. And feel free to rewind this video if you need to continue to dive a little bit deeper into how these ISTE standards correlate to each of these levels, as well as their action items and digital tool recommendations. Our third instructional example for today is going to be a focus on Bloom's taxonomy. The specific level will be the reminder with the ISTE standards that coincide with that. This instructional topic is actually going to delve into the Ganji's 9 events of instruction. So as you can see here, I have outlined the 9 events of instruction in a list from 1 through 9, and it's also represented in the image on the right. This is also a specific instructional topic and scenario regarding a business development training plan from a higher level. So the first example was regarding a sales manager, which may be a little bit more feet on the floor and tackling some of the entry-level tasks. This is a little bit of a higher level of a training plan that's to be developed by a regional director. So I encourage you to read through this example when needing to develop a training plan for those that are maybe of a higher caliber, or those that are handling a little bit more of a difficult task in dealing with key stakeholders in your organization. And this will represent the first 3 of the 9 events of instruction. We have gain attention of the learners, to inform learners of the objectives, to stimulate the recall of prior learning. And then under each of these are going to be specific examples tying back to that training plan for the regional director. We also have present the content, provide learning guidance, and elicit performance, and putting practice into action. Again, it's encouraged to read through these and to identify key takeaways relevant to your organization. And the remaining events of instruction relating to Ganji's is the provide feedback for number 7. Number 8, we have assess performance. And number 9 is to enhance the retention and transfer. For our fourth instructional example today, the focus area is going to be on the constructivist pedagogies. The 4 constructivist pedagogies represent active learning, learning by doing, scaffolded learning, and collaborative learning. Within this example, there's an instructional activity that's identified per pedagogy with a recommended tool to aid instruction. So it's encouraged to read through these and to be able to see the specific example and how it can transfer or translate over to your realm. The first is active learning, with an emphasis on learner participation through hands-on experiences. And the second is learning by doing, which is a learning pedagogy. Learning by doing is an excellent teaching method for roles that require hands-on experiences. And you will see there are 2 training examples that are listed here. In the remaining two constructivist pedagogies, we have scaffolding learning, which is what it's like to consider a training experience where the trainer serves with the training wheels while the learner is learning how to ride the bike. So the training wheels can be removed from the equation once the learner is ready to be autonomous. And the fourth is collaborative learning. This is an interactive element, and the learning style involves shared viewpoints where individuals can build upon one another's ideas. So please, if you can, pause this video and read through the specific training examples of how these constructivist pedagogies align. And we have our fifth and final instructional example. This one's my personal favorite. The focus of this instructional planning example is to establish a planning activity for a simple task. It could be to make toast, it could be to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it could be to make a grilled cheese, any similar household item that resonates with your colleagues on your team in the instructional environment. The activity itself is to ask your individuals to be able to outline the key components of making toast in this example, to outline the process and the action steps. Once the key components, process, and action steps have been established, a mind map is then able to be created. And the flexibility of this specific instruction is to allow your individuals to be able to use their imaginations and creativity. On this final slide here, this outlines the steps corresponding to making toast, as well as the mind map, taking this same data and kind of putting it into a creative format as a visual for the educators. And this does conclude the 5 instructional samples within the toolkit today. I hope that you were able to enjoy this presentation. I hope that you were able to find some insights within the training examples that were shared, from the sales manager training presentation to the regional training presentation, or whether that be something as simple as making toast, with leading through the lens of care and being able to actively provide what your learners are needing in the specific learning environment. I hope that you are able to take away samples from this and are able to embed those into your own curriculums to further enhance the learning experience. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.